Hello, my people. How's it going? I'm Jenny.
KB.
And today we are going to show you our reactions to a scene from the show.
Arcane.
Where, I'll let you explain what's going down.
It is the Tea Party Part 3.
Yep.
Jinx's Tea Party.
Yeah. So at the very end of season 1 of Arcane, this is what happens.
Yep.
It's a little dramatic. Let's take a look.
Here we go.
Shut up! We're talking!
The topsiders offered me everything. Independence, a seat at the table.
It's getting real intense over here.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And we can start to see that Caitlyn is starting to grab a shattered glass.
Yes.
And, Jinx, yeah. What do you think this expression means right here?
I think that she is wary.
Mm-hmm.
You can see that kind of concerned face that she has. I think that's her being wary, but interested in considering what Silco has to say. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you completely. She's wary but curious. Tell me more.
And I think it's because Vi had just presented her with, let's run away together.
True.
And she was like, yes, we could do that. And then Silco's like, here's why that won't work.
Yeah, pretty much.
So he's kind of that, like, devil on the shoulder being like, that'll never happen. That won't work. And she's very easily influenced.
Yeah, she is.
So she'll take in, especially by Vi or Silco. She takes what they have to say very seriously.
She does.
So, yes, let's see what happens.
All in return for you. They can all burn. Everyone betrays us, Jinx. Vander. Her.
And you see, like, as he kept talking, her eyes got bigger. She's like,
Yeah.
like, kind of like, I think in surprise. Like, oh, is that true?
It's interesting how he mentions that. I mean, we all know that Vander betrayed Silco,
Yeah.
but Vander never betrayed Powder/Jinx.
That's true.
But yeah, and in a way, you can say, well, let's say Vi didn't mean to abandon her. She got, kidnapped by Marcus.
And she needed, like, a minute to breathe.
She did.
Yeah.
They will never understand.
Oh.
She makes those
It's
faces.
only us. You're my daughter.
So when we were listening to it before, I started singing the song from Rent. There's only us. Every time he sings that, it reminds me of that song.
Yeah.
The theater geek never goes away.
Never goes away.
What do you think about this?
I think he really does feel that she is like his daughter. I
Yeah.
mean, as he said before, the Vanders and whatever I'm doing is having a daughter. So he really does feel that emotional connection to her and that attachment to her, and he always does look out for her.
Yeah.
He's trying to do its best for Jinx, though, not for the Powder side of Jinx. He's
that's
erased
true.
Powder completely from his mind.
Okay.
There is only Jinx. Jinx is perfection. Powder is imperfection. If we go back to the scene where he basically, like, has her reborn as a phoenix when he puts her into the water, he wants her to completely erase that weaker side of him, just like he got rid of that weaker side of him that we never got to really see. So, he doesn't want Powder at all, and you can tell.
I'll never forsake you.
Oh, gosh, I'm getting feels.
So we talked last time about how Jinx really, what she wants the most is acceptance and belonging. And so he's offering that to her.
Yes.
He's like, here's this sense of belonging.
Yeah, and, like, the thing about it is now her emotion before was very wary, very, I'm curious. Now she's, like, considering it and she's feeling the emotion. Because, as you mentioned, this is what she wants. This is really all she wants. She wants this from Vi. But she's getting this from Silco.
Yeah.
Drop the gun!
And, of course,
Let's go, Cupcake!
This is one of my, like, favorite Kate scenes, too.
Oh, it's exciting.
Because, like, you had an idea, what is she gonna do with this broken glass? And she doesn't, we don't get to see it, but imagine her trying to get herself out of that binding. That must
I know,
be
you
so
always
cool.
tell me, she's like, I wish I could see Caitlyn doing that, because she's such a big Caitlyn fan, and she thinks
It'd be so cool
it
to
is a cool
see it.
moment. Yeah.
And you now have
But it's
this...
even more exciting when you don't know.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, you're like, what's going on?
Right?
And you kind of get distracted and really
Right?
taken in by what's going on with Jinx and Silco. And then all of a sudden she comes out super badass.
Yeah.
Drop the gun. You're like, oh.
I know. And Vi's like, oh no.
She's like, oh shit. My badass girlfriend is here handling stuff, and unfortunately, Sis is on the other end of this.
Yep.
Please.
Oh.
And I think honestly though, she is saying please to Caitlyn, but I believe she's also saying please to Jinx.
To you.
Because here we go. We've already had her essentially with the platter, head on the platter, which thankfully didn't happen, anything on the platter. We already had her point the gun when Vi wouldn't shoot her. And I believe Vi knows, obviously, because of Jinx's eyes, something has changed in her. And also, Jinx is a loose cannon.
About the line from Wicked, something has changed within me. Something is not the same. Here we go. It's lyrics day.
I love Wicked. But, you know, and she's also seen what Jinx is capable of, as is Caitlyn. Yeah. But at this point, Caitlyn's just like, listen, I have to end this, right? So while she's telling Caitlyn, please don't, I believe she's also telling Jinx. Because I believe Vi's like, I can handle Caitlyn. I don't know if I can handle what Jinx is going to do. Fair. And she got that, got that little Jinx. Look at Caitlyn. She's ready to go, man.
Yes.
So it feels like what?
It was like, what is going on? But you know what? I think that, like, Jinx definitely underestimated Caitlyn like everyone else does, to be honest with you.
Everyone really does. Yeah. Even her own parents.
She's so capable, and here it is again. She proves time and time again that people underestimate her, and she's really kind of a badass.
She does. Yeah, she really is. Yep, okay, alright, so obviously there were some bullets being fired here, however, none of them were actually aiming at her, because obviously she'd be severely hurt. Yeah. But you do see the smoke coming out of the gun.
So it's kind of like a warning.
It is like a warning. This is a warning, multiple warning shots.
Multiple warning shots.
There's the cupcake, it's so creepy.
The creepy cupcake. But not the badass cupcake.
Drop the gun!
Yes! That scene too as well, she's like, drop the gun! I'm like, yes!
Yeah.
She's my sister!
And that one we have some shimmer in the eyes because she's like, oh, that's right.
Not literally.
Vi, she's too far gone.
Yep. She's too far gone, she said, yeah.
Which is pretty true. But I think Caitlyn knows that if she were to take down Jinx, it would destroy Vi.
It would.
No.
So now it's turned. Now Vi's like, okay, Jinx is not going to do anything anymore. Now I need to get Caitlyn because Caitlyn is ready to go. Yeah, so she thinks. I mean, even when we first saw this, I was like, there's absolutely no way in a snowball's chance in hell that Jinx doesn't have something up her sleeve. Right. She's done this little innocent thing, which we do believe is part of her actually being innocent and part of a game to her.
Yeah.
So.
It's part genuine, but I think she uses her genuine feelings to manipulate
powder.
People.
Ish.
Yep. A little bit of powder.
Let me see if I can catch that really. Here comes.
Look, a little smirk, and she does it under where her hair is covering too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. And Caitlyn even knows. Caitlyn knows.
Oh, go ahead, finish.
Caitlyn knows something's gonna happen because she's watching her face change. But Caitlyn.
She's very observant.
Yeah.
The other thing though is that we talked about this in the last one too. Jinx making Caitlyn think that she's gonna give her what she wants, and then turning around, and doing what she wants. Here it goes.
Her eye starts to glow.
Really spooky smile.
If you want this as your wallpaper, you can just pause this.
No, thank you.
Here we go! Okay, so Jinx is now powered up, so to speak.
Yeah.
Okay, that's creepy.
Very fast.
She's ridiculously fast now. She's got her eyes glowing. Caitlin's like, oh.
Her eyes of shock. And this calls back to in the shower when she first saw that thing of Jinx, and she kind of was like, oh shit. I think this is another moment of just like, oh wait. She's like, I didn't expect this.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, she's grabbing the minigun. Oh. Man.
This has to be really hard for Vi.
Yeah.
Who cares about both of them so much.
I know.
Like, who's
she even... does hit her with the minigun.
Who is she even rooting for right now?
Right in the cupcake.
Right in the cupcake. Yeah, she hits her with the minigun.
There it is, right there. And, I mean, this is really sad, too, but this is a really well done, like, scene.
Yeah.
It's so fast. I slowed it. I stopped it. So
and like they always do the slobber. There's like
slobber.
Oh my god.
It's like everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Oh!
Wow. Really visually stunning how
Yeah.
Jinx's braids are just flying.
Yeah.
She's just
Look
gone
at these
wild.
candles over here.
It's kind of spooky.
It is kind of
ambiance.
spooky. This whole thing is, but that's the spooky lighting you get too. And now Caitlyn Cupcake's going down.
Oh, down she goes.
Yep. And now the table turn. Now Cupcake is completely out. Caitlin's out at this point.
Uh-huh.
You see, now finish it.
This reminds me of Cobra Kai when the I won't say they're baddies, but when the Cobra Kai sensei are like, finish him!
Yeah.
After they've already gotten someone down on the ground, and it's like the sportsmanly thing to do is when someone's down, you stop.
Yeah.
But then the people who are a little bit cruel, a little ruthless, they say, oh, finish it.
Yeah.
And sometimes people think though that it's kind of merciful to finish someone rather than let them live with their having been the loser. But
and some cultures definitely would rather they'd rather have their life ended. Yeah, they don't want to continue on because of the shame they've brought and all this stuff too. So
that's true.
Here we go.
Wake up! Remember who you are. I know you remember.
So Vi here is trying to call back Powder. So it's interesting too. We talked about the placement of the table. Yeah. But having each of them at one end of the table, it's like Vi versus Silco. Yep. And here is kind of Vi versus Silco showdown. So Vi makes her offer, like, hey, we'll run away together. Powder's like kind of considering it. Yeah. Silco is like, no, she's gonna forget about you. So he kind of tries to counter what Vi offered. Yeah. And now Vi is again making another attempt, but this time she's trying to bring Powder back. She is. By reminding her of her past and reminding her of who she is.
Yeah, exactly. But unfortunately, with someone who has so much trauma in their life, has some interesting stuff going around with them, it doesn't help. Not to say even if it would even help anyway, because she's so torn. Like, she wants acceptance. As much as I appreciate Vi, this was probably a very bad thing to do. Someone who has experienced PTSD, which I believe Jinx also has, this is not helpful. And also,
so first she says, remember Milo. So she first sees Milo's actual face, and then it comes into these kind of drawings that it's kind of coded over.
Yeah, and she's like this. Yeah. She's terrified. Like, Milo, no offense to, like, people like Milo. Milo's an interesting character. We don't really get to see much of him.
He's kind of funny, but he's
also, a complete asshole to her.
He's a jerk
to her. He is absolutely the worst to her when she's Powder.
So it's like, remember who you were. Remember Milo. She starts off with Milo.
She does, which I think is very interesting.
Brother figure, but he also, like, treated her like shit.
Yeah, and I always appreciate when she showed him up with her shooting.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So great. And now Clagger.
We have Clagger next again. We see first the real Clagger, and then the version that Jinx shows, like, she's, drawn all over. So it's kind of like this future version that is just so wild.
It is, but I don't remember a time at all that Clagger was mean to her.
He wasn't.
He even would go back when they were doing the scene. He said, I'll go back and get her.
That's accurate. He wasn't mean to her, but it's her fault.
That's true.
That he's dead.
That's true.
So, whether he was nice or not, like, oh, here's this nice guy.
That's true.
Oh, and then she sees him first, and then sees this kind of clouded over, drawn over version of him. Vander, again.
Yep. Here's the hulking mask, though, when he got turned into that. Because Powder did see that. Okay, she saw him when he was dead.
Shimmer-fied, too. And with all the kind of shimmer color around him, she drew on him. So again, like, he's this really great father figure, but Jinx/Powder caused his death. So it's like, you can see what Vi is trying to do. I think part of this is because Vi's older. So I think in her time that she grew more attached to these individuals. But I think she also thinks of them differently. I think that Vi thought of all of them, especially the older two, as kind of her equals, whereas Powder saw all of these people as kind of these imposing, vague figures, and I think that she saw Vi as more of a parental figure than she saw Vander as, for sure.
I'm sure she absolutely did. And the thing about it, too, is, like, these are all horrible things that happened when Powder was little.
Yeah.
And she never worked through them.
Right.
So what Vi's doing is bringing it all back to her. She's reliving this, which I
Right.
believe this is what this all is, essentially.
Yeah.
Don't listen to her!
And Silco, even though he's not my favorite character at all, he's trying to help her out of that. He's like, don't think about that stuff, because obviously this is hurting her, right? But
Yeah.
Vi can't see that. Vi wants her sister
he
back.
also doesn't want her to go back to Powder.
No, of course
and go
not.
back to being close to Vi.
But of course, but at the same time, he knows, right? Because
so?
I believe Silco and Jinx, they share a similar traumatic experiences, right? Mm-hmm. So I believe that he sees a lot of himself in her, because like I said, we don't really know much about the big betrayal with him and Vander. We only see a little bit of it, but you know, that's also why, like, hey, come back out of it. Come back out of it. You're having something terrible happening to you right now.
Okay.
But Vi
got
can't
it.
see that.
Yeah.
She just wants Powder back.
Sure.
Which is not possible, sweetheart.
Yeah.
And so now
Who
she
did she
says
just
mom and I think mom and dad.
Okay.
And we don't really know much about them.
And actually, that's one of the reasons I brought up their age. It was more so to do with this than the other characters, is that Vi was older when she lost her parents.
Yep.
So I think Vi has a lot more solid of a connection to the parents and an idea of who they really were.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that a lot of what Powder/Jinx learned about her parents was through Vi.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that one.
Yeah. And also...
Oh, no, dad and mom. Okay, so this is dad over here, and this is mom over here.
Okay, and she just sees them as these vague images. Yeah.
And meanwhile, Silco is trying to desperately get out because he's trying to help her, because she can see what's happening.
Yeah. And I think that these are all motivating...
Oh, and now Vi says me.
Yeah, these are all motivating forces for Vi. Vi is extremely motivated by family.
Yes.
And by protecting family. And that's not what motivates Powder/Jinx.
No.
She's more motivated by being accepted and belonging. So I think Vi is using the mindset that she has to try and reach Powder, but it's not what obviously it's not what works.
Right,
We can see that pretty clearly.
we can see that.
But yeah, she sees all of these things as things that are
look at the
valuable to her, and help make up who she is. Powder/Jinx sees all of these as things that she lost.
Yeah, and they're just terrifying her. You've got these, like, teeth right here, you've got these eyes, all these, like, dark of this red color.
Because
like,
you can choose, too. Like, you can choose to be like, oh, my parents, like, they're so dear to me.
Yeah.
Or you can choose to think, I mean, I'm not saying that her trauma response is a choice, but what I'm saying is that, like, there's different aspects of a relationship that you can give your power to or choose to send your, like, mindset to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
However, these are all demons right now to Powder. Even Vi.
Yeah.
And here he goes. However, and look at her. Oh, she's in the fetal position right here. Poor girl. She's having a really bad time here. But even so, she's like, oh no, I need to protect my sister.
Ooh.
Okay, yeah. Whew. So we still got the smoke here from the minigun too, and I don't really know if Jinx realizes what she's done yet.
Yeah. I think she's in shock right now.
It looks like it.
She just acted, but she was, like, really in her head when that happened. Yeah.
Oh, she's realizing it now.
Yeah.
Oof. But this is really bad, but here is the thing. If she had not taken the shot, he was going to shoot Vi. No hesitation whatsoever. Because to him, he's like, I have to do whatever it takes so I can have her stop living what she's living, bring her back to the present right now. So, he means well, but... Ugh.
Yeah. And is that a shot that he got in above Vi's shoulder?
I believe so. I believe his bullet, like, went up this way. So, it wouldn't have been, like, a fatal shot, but it still would have been really painful. And it's so interesting, right? We have Vi sitting right here, and now we have him casting shadow. That is really interesting.
True.
And now Jinx is like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Caitlyn.
On the ground.
Oh.
Knocked
No,
Oh, this is really sad.
This is really sad.
I'm sorry.
I never would have given you to them.
And so right now he's reassuring her no matter what, he would have stayed loyal to her, would have been the father figure she needed in his very twisted way, we'll say.
Yep.
Not for anything.
Aww.
And, oh man.
And you see in her those eyes of someone who is getting the acceptance. He's giving her the acceptance that she so desires.
Yep. And you see the tears pooling in her eyes.
Don't cry. You're perfect.
Give her validation.
Yep. And that's what she wanted too.